Chinese e-commerce giant Alibaba is doubling down on the U.S. Its global business-to-business arm is rolling out a slew of products at its second annual Co-Create event in Las Vegas. Among the announcements, a tie-up with Mastercard to launch a new credit card for businesses and a new sourcing agent driven by generative AI. Akiko Fujita spoke to the president of Alibaba.com, Kuo Zhang, about why he thinks generative AI will accelerate global trade on the platform.
We think that is a perfect scenario since the process is complex and the people are using different languages in different time zones with different cultures as a background. We first launched our AI tools for the sellers last October. And now we have more than 20,000 of customers, seller side from China, and 10,000 customers outside China who's using these AI tools. And today we are announcing the tools for the buyer part. So we are providing a tool which is not a kind of traditional passive search engine. It's a kind of a conversational search engine. It will get you through. You can start from a scratch to describe about your ideas, or you can through a list of questions or even a quotation documentation to the engine. And the engine will get you through step by step.
This partnership that you have with Mastercard, you're launching a credit card. Looking at the terms of that, certainly you can see the multiple use cases here. Obviously, increasing access to capital for the small, medium-sized enterprises that you serve. Also, though, pushing to the Alibaba.com platform as well. I mean, what opportunity do you see, particularly in the U.S. market, beyond what you already have? I mean, how significant is that growth opportunity?
We want to launch new financing services. For example, give you a more kind of payment terms, like 30 days to 90 days. So you can manage your cash flow better. The second part is can give you 3% of a cashback if you pay it online. And after that, we are providing after sales services. Let's say if the product you receive have a defect, or not as described that you make before, then you can return the product to 4,700 different locations for free.
So the ease of transaction, as you laid it out, but clearly there's an opportunity that you see here given the launch that's happening today. How big is that market for the U.S.? Is the U.S. for Alibaba right now? How much more growth do you see potentially?
So currently U.S. is around 30 to 40% in total from the GMV or the transaction perspective. And that's only cover part of the business in daily basis. You think about the global trade is a 20 trillion US dollar business. So now the penetration of the digital penetration is a single digit. So we believe there's a lot potential to growth if we lower the barrier and let more SMBs to come to this network.
Alibaba.com, of course, just a part of the larger Alibaba company. Looking at your most recent earnings, certainly a slowdown in the economy back home in China, creating headwinds, particularly on the consumer-facing side of the business. The international arm, though, a bright spot for the company. I'm looking at international digital commerce. That was up more than 30% year on year. To what extent does the slowdown you're seeing in China increase the importance of the international arm, particularly B2B for Alibaba as a whole?
We have 3 major strategies. I think it's not only for this year, but also for the next 3 years. The first thing that we already mentioned is about technology, like the AI. So AI can lower the barrier for more buyers and suppliers to come in to do businesses with each other. And this is our mission to set up this business, to make it easy to do business anywhere. So we talked about that before. The second part is about to build the digital supply chain to make sure the buyers and sellers can trust each other, can pay easily to pay and deliver the product. The third part is we are helping the buyers to coping with supply chain disruptions. Especially we are introducing more and more global supplies into this network. So the supplies, including from the Europe, Southeast Asia, North America, and Mexico, Latin America as well. So these we can provide with the effort of this, the buyers can easily to select their partners, not only from China, but from all over the world. And these three strategies actually is driving our growth.
Yeah, let's talk about what's playing out in the Chinese economy. Certainly a lot of our viewers very interested, and you've got a good pulse on this, given that SMEs are a real driver in the Chinese economy, about 60% of GDP. You have conversations with these small and medium-sized businesses. How would you assess the health of those businesses?
We speak with many of the manufacturers, with the suppliers in China. I think for this year, one thing is that more and more kind of suppliers would like to participate in the global trade. Take EU and Guangzhou as example. So suppliers there, actually the new suppliers come to the marketplace actually is 30 to 40% of growth comparing for the last year. So which means that more and more suppliers would like to join this global trade.
That push to export more, though, I mean, how much of that is a symptom of what's happening in the domestic market and wanting to seek out opportunities in more high growth areas?
I think it's both. So previously, it's very hard for them to understand what's the real demand and how to kind of ship in time and how to collect the money. And then now with the help of digital, I think it's more and more easier for them to kind of lower the barrier and participate in the global trade.
You talk about global cross-border trade. It's certainly fraught with risks, increasingly on the political side of things, globally. Here in the U.S., you've got the potential for the return of former President Trump, who has already talked about the possibility of 60% tariffs on all Chinese imports, starting at 60%, we should say. I mean, you're increasing your supplier base, but you've still got, what, roughly 90% in China? I mean, how big of an impact would this be for Alibaba.com, and how are you preparing for the possibility?
So first of all, if we talk about the global trade, actually the fundamental rule is demand and supplies. So think from the US buyer's perspective, the SMB want to buy some stuff. So there are a lot of things they need to consider, like what product I produce, what is the market, what is the cost, and what's the kind of inflation rate, and etc. And the tariff is only one part of that.
And you could argue that it's not just the U.S. anymore. I mean, Europe has also launched some investigations of their own, potential additional tariffs coming on that front as well.
We see different areas actually have different type of demand. Like in developing countries, in developed countries, actually they are buying different stuff. And what we can do here actually is the first, we can lower the barrier so more people can participate. And the second is that we can make the supplies more diversified from all over the world. And we have a plan to kind of invite more than 100,000 kind of suppliers all over the world to participate in this network. So more and more SMEs can get beneficial from this globalization. So that is our view and our effort.
That was the president of Alibaba.com, Kuo Zhang.